We're here with Frank Marinace from Marinace Architects. Yes, thank you. And I didn't know if there was more to that name, but I wanted to be sure we had it right. Frank is the architect for the Stevens High School renovation project here in Claremont, New Hampshire. And wanted to just interview you briefly, Frank, about why you're here at Stevens High School today. Why are you here?
Why am I here today, besides this?
Besides this, getting on YouTube, but what we're going to do with this?
Well, when we design school projects, it's very important to find out what goes on inside the building before you design the building and try and force whatever happens inside into the space. Example, do you just design a 30-foot by 30-foot classroom and then whatever happens in there happens? Or do you find out how teachers are teaching these kids, what they do, what are the activities, what goes on? The educational specifications is what we call it. We need to find out what goes on inside the building so we can design it from the inside out, driven by the program, driven by the use of the building, rather than just arbitrarily design a bunch of classrooms or a music room or an art room without knowing what happens inside the room. So the reason I'm here is to talk to different departments, department by department, and we have a schedule for most of the day today.
I noticed it's a pretty extensive schedule.
It's pretty extensive, but we do this for every school job to find out what concerns they have, what's not working in this school right now, what do they have for problems. And it probably won't happen that anyone comes in here and says, everything's fine, we don't need anything. That almost never happens. Almost never. So we're here to listen to what's wrong here, what doesn't work, how is the building not serving the curriculum, and how can we make things better if we're going to do a project here. When you do a major project in a building, and we know this building needs it, hasn't had a major project for a while, when you're doing a major project, that's the time to upgrade the building to meet the curriculum. That's the time to do it. You don't want to undertake a major project and then find out that the way you've designed the building doesn't really fit with the curriculum. And we know that the curriculum changes rapidly, especially now with all the high-tech stuff. Things have been changing over the past 10 years, especially.
Sure.
The classrooms are not like they were when we were in school, where everyone sits in a row with their hands folded, the teacher's up there.
That's exactly how I feel back in school.
There's all kinds of developments that have happened in the past 10 years, and teaching methods have changed, and just things have changed in school. Why not design the building to keep up with that curriculum?
Sure.
That's the main reason I'm here, to listen to what teachers need, what's not working here, and how they would better design the building to meet the curriculum. Then we'll take the design from there. We'll do the designing of the room. We're not asking to do that. We'll design the spaces and lay out the buildings with the relationship of room to room and so on and so forth. But we'd like to hear from their standpoint, how do they want to teach these kids? What are they teaching them? What do they need? That's what we're going to do today.
Good, good.
And it's going to take the whole day.
Sometimes
it takes more than that.
Now, are you going to be interviewing any students also, or any groups?
Yes, yes.
Correct.
We're going to be listening to students. We like to get input from all different directions, find out from teacher standpoints, administration standpoints, right down to department heads and right down to students. What are the concerns they have from their standpoint? You know how students see things differently than staff. We'd like to hear what students have to say about this. Now, if this project goes ahead, if the project goes ahead where it becomes a real project, we're still doing the study for this.
Sure.
We'll do this all over again. Only at that time, it'll be much more detailed, and it'll be a real project, and we'll be looking at detailed plans of the building. Detailed plans meaning we'll be looking at how casework inside the room is laid out. Do you need one sink or two sinks?
Wow.
How deep are the sinks? Do you need a drawer cabinet or a storage cabinet? Do you want a tall storage cabinet? How about a teacher's wardrobe cabinet? How many storage cabinets do you need? That's just the casework part of it. And we go on and on. Marker boards, smart boards, tack boards, everything in the room. How's the room laid out? What are the adjacencies to other rooms? Do you want to be close to this room? Do we want science rooms next to each other, or do you want them spread out? On and on and on. So we'll get into more detail. This is the first step for the report. If the project goes ahead, we'll get into the real details of designing the building.
Good, good. Now, because it sounds like there's certainly a lot involved, not just in this first big phase, but even more so in the second phase. But you're looking at input from the students, you're looking at input from the faculty, from the staff, and understanding how everything works. And not even just how it works now, but how we want it to work. Right now, I know our door here was left open because just the structure of the building, to accommodate what needs to happen in the building, you have interruptions in classes. So you'll be doing things to alleviate that, in how you set up the building, but also really to make learning more efficient, if I'm understanding correctly.
That's what this is all about. More efficient and to make the building safer. As part of any project we do, we bring the building up to current code. And almost
Are
every
we
building,
not in current code right now?
almost every building that hasn't had a lot of work done to it is not up to current code. Not that it has to be by law, but it's if we're doing a project, we like to work with the fire department, Department of Education, and bring the building up to current codes.
Sure.
Now's the time to do it. We're required to do that. We would do it anyhow, even if we weren't required to do it, because it's just a safety factor.
Right.
And again, while you're doing the project, I mentioned the curriculum. The other part of it that staff doesn't have to be too worried about, we'll take care of it, is to make a building safer, bringing it up to current codes. Fire codes, life safety codes, handicap codes. Looking at the materials, how they're holding up. If the material is deteriorating on the outside, we like to fix that to make the building less of a maintenance headache.
Less expensive to run.
Less expensive to run. The other part of it is making it more energy efficient. See, all these things play a part. The curriculum is just one of them. That's why I'm here today, because that was the question. But as we're doing this project, we have to look at energy efficiency. We have to look at not just energy efficiency in saving money with energy, but the health of the building, fresh air, good environment, overall healthy environment, along with meeting all the codes, the ADA codes, structural codes, fire codes, putting all that together, and then bringing in the educational part of it. So it's a fairly complex undertaking, but that's what we do, and that's what this project's all about.
So when we're finished here, you're going to have a pretty good outline of really how the school operates, what's needed, even though it won't be to the finite detail like you're saying for the future, hopefully, all going well. So that's your objective for today, to really get those details down at the initial set.
To find out from the users of the building how they're running this building, what doesn't work, what's going on. And I'll be walking through. I'm going to go down to the cafeteria and see how lunch is going. Just see if we can make improvements.
Great food.
Yeah, I'll bet. But we're going to see if we can improve how things operate here. I have a little bit of time after this, and I'll walk around and just see what's going on with the students in school right now. We're also doing a traffic study. We have engineers doing that, so we can improve what's going on with circulation outside. Hopefully we'll improve it. It'd be pretty hard to not improve it, because it doesn't work very well right now. Looking at getting more parking and more pedestrian and vehicular circulation, and getting the buses dropping off the kids in a more efficient way.
Great.
So we'll be doing all that.
Awesome. Well, we certainly love having you here. We're glad that you're here to take a look at everything, Frank. Do you think we have time for one more session after this one?
Sure.
Great.
Let's do it.
Well, I want to let everybody out there know that's watching this. Yes, we're going to have another session you'll see out there on YouTube, or again, wherever this is placed. But wanted to remind everyone that October 1st is our next building committee meeting, where we'd love to have the public in, take a look at everything, listen to what Frank presents in his presentation and his team presents, and bring us your input. We want to know what you're thinking. We want to, this is all about our Claremont community and building it for the future. We need to do this not just for our current accreditation, which I'd like to talk about in our next segment, but more so really for the future of our students and our community. So, thank you, Frank.